it couldn't be easier to watch Hobbymaker. You can join us on Sky, Freeview, on our website or on YouTube, so you can watch at home or on the go.
Our call centre is based in the UK and available 24/7. Just call 0800 001 4433 or email help@hobbymaker.co.uk. Hello everybody, good morning. It's that time, it's 6 o'clock bright and early on this Wednesday morning. I hope you're well. Welcome to Wake Up with Hobbymaker. I'm Dave and it's lovely to have you back.
It's nice to be back with you today.
Kerry's here. I did one show with you, a few weeks ago.
Literally a few weeks ago, yeah.
Massively popular it was as well.
Very good, yeah.
Now, thank you for getting up so early. You're here on a kind of a double bubble, aren't you? Doing us to start with, and you're going to be on
And then I'll be on Sewing Street a little bit later. So here with you 6 till 8 and Sewing Street 9 and 11. So a nice busy day.
Fantastic. Now, what is it you do? I mean, obviously we're looking at sewing material here. What do you do when you're not actually in the studio with us?
Create the patterns. So we do everything from designing the patterns, writing the patterns, producing the pattern booklets, and then cutting and packing the kits. So literally everything that you see we've done, wrapping and choosing pretty fabrics and making them into pretty things pretty much.
And you were up till like 3 in the morning last night doing last minute. Wow.
I was, yeah. I thought, is it worth having a sleep? No, we'll see it through today.
Crack on. Well, if you just found Hobbymaker this morning, great to have your company. We are nearly 6 months old. That's gone in a flash, hasn't it?
It really has, yeah.
But also it kind of feels like we've been here all the time.
It's funny how that happens.
Yeah, it's a strange scenario, but great to know that you're loving the channel, because loads of you email in and message in all the time saying how much you enjoy Hobbymaker, which is fantastic. And just so that you know, we're here 6 till 8 every weekday morning, Monday to Friday, and then in the afternoon between 1 and 6, 7 days a week. So we're always going to be with you, and we cover everything. We do card craft, we do a little bit of sewing, we do a little bit of resin, all sorts of things, kind of model making as well. So that's why we're called Hobbymaker. We don't just do cards, we do all sorts of other stuff as well. Now tell us what we've got coming up this morning for us.
So this morning we've got a variety of things today. I mean, the last few shows that we've done, if you remember, we had you making bulbuls last time. So
I remember, yeah,
Christmas.
Yeah.
So this is the second show we've done with you where it's not all about Christmas. So we've got lots of accessories that are good for your sewing room, organising your sewing collections, whether it's in the clear bags that we've got coming up. And then in the second hour, we've got a reusable tote as well. So nice little ideas. Even though it's not Christmas themed, they'll still make nice little Christmas gifts if you're at that stage at the moment.
Now, the 4 items we've got for you in the show, they all can be made between now and 8 o'clock. So if you're looking for quick makes, things that aren't going to take up too much of your day, but you can have fun making them along the way, you can do them definitely within, say, a morning or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And the more frequently you make them, I mean, they're little projects, so the same with anything, the more you make them, the faster you come, but they're all sort of couple of hour projects to be making first time round.
So these kits could be gifts as kits, or make what the kit makes and then gift what you've made. It's entirely up to you. You could do it either way, really. Now we also...
For yourself.
Yeah, it could be for yourself, totally. And I think they will be for yourself as well. Now, not every show, but quite often we have an early bird, and we've got an early bird today, which we're going to talk about in just a second. But remember, if you want to get in touch with the show, please do email in. It's studio@hobbymaker.co.uk. There's the email address. We always like to get those. And also, there's another very easy way of messaging us. If you go to our website, hobbymaker.co.uk, there's a little area that says contact the studio, and we can show you that in a sec as well. And that's an instant message that gets sent into our gallery, and Laura, our producer, can then put it on the screen. So if you've got a question, a comment, there it is. Look, it just says, there we are, we're just putting in good morning. Type send on that. There we are. That will go through to Laura, and then it can instantly appear on the screen if it's something we can put on TV, basically. So, yeah, lovely to know that you're watching. Get in touch, say hi. If it's just a hello this morning because you're watching us having a cup of coffee, gradually kind of seeing in Wednesday, whatever the reason to message, we always love to get your comments. And actually, I got asked yesterday, they're doing like a bit of a PR thing at the moment in the office here, and they said, what is it that makes Hobbymaker so unique? And I said, I think from my point of view, it's the fact that you can contact us you can find out more about us at home as well. It's that interaction which you don't really get anywhere else.
No, and I think that's the nice thing, really, and ask you questions. But we like to hear you if you've made things as well, or ideas as well that you might have. We always like to hear things like that. So
yeah,
yeah,
if you want to see something,
like that.
if you want to see something from Kerry in the future, a kit that you've not seen before,
Oh yeah, we
message
could
in.
definitely do with some new ideas.
Yeah, yeah.
So feel free to send them in.
Give Kerry the inspiration. It might just well be that you see it come to fruition in the weeks and months to come. Now, we are going to do an early bird, so that basically is a special offer on something that everyone needs. And if you are a sewer, obviously most people who are sewing need their zips, and we've got a zips bundle as an early bird bargain for you. So have a little look. This is our early bird for Wednesday. Zips, you can never have enough of them, whether it's for outfits, whether it's for bags, whatever it might be. And I have it on good authority that whenever you're on Sewing Street with zips, they absolutely fly out the door.
Yeah.
You can never get too many of them. Now, colours will vary, but you're going to get a lovely selection of the 10-inch mixed zips. Now, do the quality of zips vary massively?
They're all the same. So in your bag there'll be nylon zips in there. So the quality is all the same. Inside in the bags that you go in to receive, but the colours may be different to the ones that are in here, so it's a no surprise.
And what sort of things do you imagine these being used on, the 10-inch zips? What are the most popular?
Projects like we're making today, so in a little while I'll be making the Verity bag, which has got that clear pocket. They're great for any craft projects, really. I tend to always keep a 10-inch zip around, because even if you wanted to work a smaller project, you can trim these down as well.
Oh, you can?
Yeah, so great for bag making. Like you said, if you're making even little girls' dresses, they're great for little projects like that. But me personally, I tend to put these into bags.
And it's nice that you've got a mixture of colours too.
Yeah.
Now, the price, as you can see, is ridiculous. It's only £3.99. You're definitely getting 5, so it's about 80p a zip, is that something like that? Yeah. Which is really, really good value for money. Quality nylon zips. Now, if you do trim them down, you said you can trim them down. Obviously, you've got a stopper on the end of this. Yeah. So how do you get over that?
If you're trimming these down, then what I would recommend doing is putting it into your project first. So if your project's a little bit smaller, sew the zip and then cut it away. Or the alternative is either hand tack. So if you wanted to make this into a 9-inch zip, if it's a smaller project, just tack over the 9-inch point on your zip, or you can run that through the machine nice and gently as well, and that will stop that from moving.
Now, obviously, we've got orange, pink, blue, green in here. Your colours, and a red as well. Your colours will vary, but it's across. It won't be all the same colour.
No, there'll be 5 different colours in each bundle.
Okay. So for £3.99, I'm not sure really how much is it normally costs. This is a really good price.
A lot more than that.
A lot more than that, yeah. So these prices are fantastic. I mean, some people probably would pay that for one zip if you went out individually to a store to find them. So to get 5 in the packet, different colours, and it's quite nice and quite fashionable to have like not a colour clash, but have like a very different colour zip to the colour
absolutely.
fabric.
I quite like having a zip that really
Pops.
makes it pop, really, and nice vibrant zips in there as well.
Okay, so 5 of the 10-inch. Now we've also got another pack of the 8-inch, and we're going to match that price, I believe, as well. So the 10-inch is DYL 159. If you want the 8-inch option, we've got those available for you. And again, this shows you some of the other colours that you may well be receiving. Got like a taupey colour, a purple, a black, a pink, and a white in there. YPL 186. So this is your early bird, and this is great because it's not just basically us giving you a bag or a bag pattern or whatever. I mean, zips are universal. Zips are going to be used on so many things, whether it's bags, whether it's outfits. It's one of those things that you suddenly realise you need, and you look in your stash and you haven't got it, or the right length has run out. I mean, if you want to go for both of them, the 10-inch and the 8-inch options, that'd be 10 zips in total. That'd be £8, $7.98, and one postage charge of just $3.95. And remember, that's the unique thing with Hobbymaker, is that the postage is always $3.95 for the entire day. So from midnight last night to midnight tonight, any orders you make in that 24-hour period, you'll only pay a maximum of £3.95 postage. So 5 of the 8-inch zips there, £3.99, and they're great. Again, these could be cut down as well if you want.
Absolutely, and the 2 projects that we've got today, so the 10-inch I'll be using in the Verity bag, and the 8-inch I'll be using in the little clutch bag as well. So that's why we've chosen to bring those along. If you are making lots of these, then you've got the extras to go with your fabrics in your stash.
Cool, because of course, when we get to the kits, they will come with the zip, but that'll be one. So if you wanted to use that pattern again and again and again to multi-make, then of course you're going to need more of the zips. So these are going to match the patterns and the packs that we've actually got in the show today. So a set of 5 10-inch, a set of 5 8-inch, they're both just $3.99 each, so $7.98 for the 2 sets. That will give you 10 zips and 1 P&P of £3.95. And there's the free phone number. Remember, it's always free to call us in our call centre, 0800 001 4433. The call centre's in the building here. It's a UK call centre. I was on the phone to them yesterday. They're really helpful. Any questions, any queries, any help with maybe making your first order. If you've never ordered with Hobbymaker before, then you can, of course, do that today. Just give them a call. They'll set up an account for you free of charge. And if ever you've got any queries or questions in the future, they're always there, and they've always got your account details handy. So it's lovely to know the call centre is based in the UK, in this building, and it's 24/7 as well. So 0800 001 4433. That's our early bird on the zips. But should we start with our first kit?
Shall we have a little look?
Okay, let's have a little look. Now, we predict this is going to be the most popular because this is a lovely, universal, very, very useful thing. This is the roll. Now, it's a roll for really whatever you want to put in.
Absolutely, yeah. So when we make it up in a little while, you know, if you want to use it for your pens like I've got here,
Yep.
then you just making the distance between your pockets a little bit wider. But if you want to use it for paintbrushes or makeup brushes, but it's just so useful, especially if you're, you know, making a gift for somebody and filling it full of their favourite pens, or if you're going to class, or, you know, I quite like doing something when I'm in the car. I'm not a very good passenger, so I like being busy in the car. So if you want your little tools in there and everything together, it's a nice little thing to pop in your handbag as well.
Is this a machine-only project, or can you do it by hand?
You could do it by hand. You can sew any of the projects by hand. It'll just take a lot longer.
Right.
So I would recommend sewing this particular project on a sewing machine.
Now, the fabric. Let's talk about the fabric. This is absolutely gorgeous. Let me open up the kit first of all. They can see everything you're going to get in it. I love your packaging, by the way. The little label on the front says, packed with loveliness, lots of love, Kerry. Really sweet. And it's all wrapped in tissue paper for you.
You can pull it, we'll rewrap it.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody wants to be gentle, but it's fine, we'll rewrap it.
Let's open this up. Now, the first thing that hits you is the fabric itself. Incredibly tropical. It takes me to the kind of Caribbean.
Oh, I absolutely love this. Hummingbirds are my favourite as
Are they?
well. So, yeah, I love this. So this is Lewis and Irene fabric. And in fact, the first show that we had with Hobbymaker, we use these fabrics in the storage basket. So we're bringing the fabric back. So if you did get your hands on the storage basket when we had those on,
Right.
you know, you've got those to complement.
Now, the lovely thing is, Kerry's patterns aren't boring, you know, black and white type. It's absolutely filled with imagery as well, which that's what does it for me, because I'm not much a reader. I'm more of a kind of visual person.
Absolutely.
So this shows you with the pattern everything that you need to do every single step of the way. All the measurements, of course, are in there as well. But the beautiful thing is, once you've got this, okay, you've got the kit to make the actual roll, but you've then got the pattern to make more and more and more in the fabrics of your choice. But look at this fabric. If I just open this out, wow. This is just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous colours. Look at that.
I don't
Really
think I'll ever
tropical.
tire of this print. I've made so many things in this fabric, and I don't think I'll ever tire of it. It's just such a beautiful, it's a happy fabric, isn't it?
It is,
you know?
totally happy. With the hummingbirds darting between the flowers. Got your fuchsias there as well. Hark at me, know my flowers. Impressed myself with that one.
I was really impressed then.
It's about the only flower I do know. Well, roses and daffodils, I'm all right with those as well. But again, look at this. It's a riot of colour. It really is so bright, so cheerful. Wow. Isn't that gorgeous? So is this for the inside of the wrap? Or?
It's entirely up to you. So you're getting 2 fat quarters in here, a fat quarter of your batting as well. So, you know, when you're making this up, you may want to have the hibiscus fabric, the one that you were just holding up. You may want to have that on the exterior. Mm-hmm. It's entirely up to yourself.
And the batting as well, that's the actual, obviously the padding for the wrap as well. You don't want anything too stiff, do you?
No, I mean, I've made these before using an interfacing, and you can absolutely use an interfacing to make these, but I just feel it gives it a better finish for me personally by using the batting in there. It's just a nice, softer, plush finish.
And we've got our craft pens in there, but obviously you can literally put anything in this wrap that you want to. You do also get a metre of ribbon.
A metre of ribbon in.
Metre of ribbon as well, which you can sew into the side to tie it all together. But I mean, this could even be a jewellery wrap if you wanted to put like chains and
yeah,
rings
absolutely.
And
yeah.
yeah. So you get the wadding, you get the 2 fat quarters in these tropical colours. So that's hibiscus, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Hibiscus, and then you also get, I call this one the Caribbean, I just love it, because it's really bright, vibrant fuchsias, oranges, pinks, turquoises in there as well. So this is £15.99, £15.99, but of course the benefit is you'll have the pattern to use again and again and again to make as many of these as you wish. Now, if you want the pattern on its own, if that's all you want, if you've got fabric at home that's just kind of pushed to one side at the moment, thinking, oh, I want to use that, but I'm not quite sure what I want to use it for, then we've got the pattern on its own for you. That is just £6.99, and again, it's going to allow you to make as many of these accessory rolls as you want going forward, and the patterns are so easy to follow, aren't they?
Absolutely, yeah. I think the thing that's most important to us, I've been teaching and running classes for such a long time, and the feedback from you know, ladies and gentlemen that attended the classes is they were looking at patterns, and as you said, there was lots of writing, whereas, you know, a quick glance at a photo, and even if you're, you know, still not 100% sure, the photo, I think, really helps. So that's why it's important to me to provide a photo for each stage.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely brilliant you do that. And it also tells you exactly what you need for the project on the back. So if going down the line, maybe you make the kit when it arrives, and then maybe 4 or 5 months down the road, you want to make some more, and you kind of forget what you actually need. It's all written on the back of the pattern there. But Kerry's given you absolutely everything in this kit today to make it. And also, if you've got any questions or queries, you can get in contact with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's an email address on there as well.
So there's a welcome letter in any of the kits that you buy, and our email address is on there. So if you're stuck with a project, or if you want to share your photo with us, send it through to the email address. It's myself that responds to it. Just sometimes allow a couple of days, maybe maximum, and we'll always get back to you.
Brilliant. I mean, that's what I love about being here at Hobbymaker. Yes, we've got the big companies like your Hunky Dories, your Crafters Companion, but we've also got the kind of cottage businesses as well, and the small independent businesses all sharing the same screen, which is lovely, isn't it?
Oh, sorry. I was catching up with me. That's the thing that is really nice, actually, that we have the opportunity to come and do that, and just share our love for sewing and pretty fabric.
Okay, so more coming up a bit later on. We've got a tote bag a bit later. We've got the Verity for you as well. So lots to get in between now and 8 o'clock. Should we do a bit of a demo?
Shall we have a
Is that
demo?
right? Yeah, let's do it.
So I've cut these ones down to the correct size. I'll just move that back to bring it. And it is a really nice quick make this morning to get us started. So decide which of the fabrics that you would like to appear on the exterior part of your project. And what we're going to do is to just place the batting flat onto your table, then align the raw edges there. So I'll just reposition that. Now, if you've got some 505 spray, you can give that a little spray onto there. But to be perfectly honest with you, it is a small amount of fabric, so that's absolutely fine.
Okay.
Now, if you enjoy adding extra details, you could do some quilting on here if you wanted to, but you'd need to do that first of all. That's not in your step-by-step, but if you wanted to, you know, especially if you're making this as a gift for somebody, you might want to add a little bit extra. So the next thing we're going to do is to pop the lining on top. So we're aligning those raw edges, and either just using, in fact, I'll use a few clips. So just using a few clips, we're just going to clip along the top and the bottom raw edge, and that's the same line that we're going to sew as well.
Right.
And in all of the projects that I make, I use a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And again, all of this is written in that little welcome letter that we pop on the inside of each of your patterns.
There we go. Just pinning the fabrics together. Pretty simple so far.
Nice and easy. We like easy.
Yeah.
And then what we'll do, just bring this a little bit closer. So again, as I said, just using a 1/4 inch seam allowance, we're just going to sew along that raw edge.
Have you always been a sewer?
I've grown up with it. So my mum always made things. She made clothes and curtains. She worked at a leather museum as well, so she made some amazing things. But she didn't really have the patience. She'll tell me off for saying this, but I do tell everybody. She didn't really have the patience to teach me. So it was always something I wanted to do. So I did take it as a GCSE. But again, for anybody that maybe took it, it was... Yeah, I passed, but I always remember wanting to make a shoe storage hanging, and my teacher wouldn't let me. She just wanted me to do a cushion. Wanted me to do a cushion, and that's the only thing I made into like the 2-year course.
Why shoe storage? Is it?
I don't know. Well, no, not really. It just looked complicated.
Oh, you like the complicated? Ah, okay.
And I wanted to do something that was challenging.
The cushion wasn't really much of a challenge.
No, because I watched my mum make them, so I wanted to do something a little bit different. And it really was when my children started growing up. Mainly my youngest child. I wanted to make him little things because I'd made some stockings, some tiny little stockings as an advent garland for my older children, and it was really when my younger son came along that I really got into it.
Right.
So the next thing we're going to do is to just turn this the right way out.
So you've just sewn two sides.
That's it. All I've done is just put a seam on the top and a seam on the bottom. So the next thing we're going to do, you can give this a press at this stage if you want to. Now, you have in this kit got a fabric that is that has a pattern on there. So if you just check where you're folding, so you can see here, so my birds are facing the right way. And as I fold this along the top, so just check this before you do anything else. Just check that your pattern's the right way. And it's this part here that we're going to sew.
Right.
First of all. So we'll just pop this onto the sewing machine.
And to be honest with you, these wraps, the accessory rolls, can be used for anything you like. Whether it's, like you said, makeup brushes,
they're great,
brushes.
Yeah.
You could be pencils that you're using, or your fine liners if you're tangling, your brush markers. Or it could even be jewellery. It really could be anything that you just want to keep protected, because when you're rolling the wrap up, obviously all that cotton is kind of protecting and cushioning everything that's in the wrap, isn't it? So that's why they're so effective.
I think it's such a simple, fast project. It's nice to have different ones for different things, and they really make nice little gifts as well. And one of the things that I'm really passionate about is encouraging, people to have a go. And I know I get asked quite a lot, can you use the patterns and sell from the patterns? I always think it's really nice to see that people are doing that, maybe doing craft fairs. They're nice little projects. Yeah. Absolutely. So once we've sewn across the top, I've used a zigzag stitch here. The next thing I'm going to do, and this really depends what you're popping into here, this next stage. So there are measurements in the pattern, so I'm just going to fold this up. Mine's folded up 5 inches there. And then what I'm doing is just feeling through the layers and just opening up the back part of that layer. And I just want to bring this together and clip this into place. There we go. And when I do this, I'm then going to pull this back through. So I'm turning this the wrong way again. And the reason for that is we're just going to sew along that raw edge there and pop a little seam on. Now, you'll have some ribbon in your kit. It might be a slightly different colour, but you'll have some ribbon in the kit. Cut your ribbon in half as soon as you get that. And where you've got that little clip, I would recommend using a clip because you're going to turn this in and out several times, so you don't want to catch your fingers on there. Okay. Just going to tuck that ribbon inside and rest the ribbon just above that pocket and just clip this into place.
I think all the kits actually on the show today are great for beginners too, aren't they?
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely.
Nothing's too tricky or challenging?
No, not at all. These are all perfect beginner projects. So, would you mind if I just grab that pen, Dave?
Yep.
So I'm just going to mark up a little turning gap here.
Now this pen, it's an erasable, is it a heat erasable?
It is a heat erasable pen, yeah.
And that's in the show too.
So what I'm going to do is to just sew along this raw edge now, and you'll see how fast this comes together. Keep losing my little pedal here. But this time, I'm going to use a straight stitch. So I'll come back down to the straight stitch. So I'm just reverse stitching
Good morning, if you just switched on. It's nearly 6:25. We're live on Hobbymaker with Wake Up with Hobbymaker. I'm Dave, this is Kerry, and we're with you till 8 o'clock this morning. And we're doing a little bit of easy sewing and bag making, wrap making between now and 8 o'clock.
Nice way to start the morning.
Yeah.
So I've left my little turning gap on one side. On the opposite side, I'm just going to sew across the full length there. So starting and finishing with a reverse stitch through all of those layers.
Perfect.
And then as we pull this back through, so now we've got our little turning gap. As we pull this back through, so the reason I do it this way is so there's no raw edges. They're all tucked inside, out of the way. And as we bring this around, so you asked if you could have this on the outside. You'd just turn it that way if that's what you wanted, so you can make your mind up. And to be honest, sometimes if I can't decide which is my favourite fabric, it's quite nice with projects like this where you can decide right at the last moment.
Yeah.
So you can see here how quickly this comes together. Now, if you're having this for makeup brushes or your fine liner pens that you mentioned, you would want to keep the gaps really small in this. But for myself, I generally tend to have this for either thicker pens or paint brushes.
So you can choose how big or wide or narrow the gaps are. Yeah.
Absolutely. So for this side, what I'm going to do is to just tuck that raw edge in. Now, I would always recommend, especially if you're making this as a gift, to take a moment and just sew this up. Just give that a little slip stitch, sew this up so none of those raw edges are sewing. So we'll just clip that for now. Now, you've got your ribbon on the outside there. There we go. Let's just grab.
I can't believe in 2 hours you're going to be making all 4 of the items that we've got in the show, and that's great. I mean, that's what it's all about here at Hobbymaker. You want to see how easy something is to do, or the techniques that Kerry uses. It's all here between now and 8 o'clock.
So just for speed and ease today, I'm just going to do a couple of lines. So again, dependent upon what you pop into here. I quite liked using self-covering buttons, so I generally tend to leave a wider pocket to pop something into there.
Now that fabric pen, by the way, is on the screen now, heat erasable. It's only £2.99. So if you fancy popping that into your order as well at the same time, maybe with the kit too, it's KIL 103 for the heat erasable pen. And it just disappears when you go over the line, yeah?
Yeah. So on those lines that I've just drawn, I'm simply going to start and finish with a reverse stitch and then trim away that excess thread. And that's going to put the pockets in for this project.
And there's no restriction as to how wide or how narrow you make the little pockets. So depending on what you're going to be putting in it, I mean, if you're going to be putting like makeup brushes or artist brushes in there, you probably want them quite thin.
Yeah, if you're going for makeup brushes or, you know, the best thing to do really is to just line the things up on top so you can see. But things like your artist brushes and your makeup brushes, you know, you'd really want your gaps about an inch and a half wide. Whereas some of these I've got here, I've got 4 and 3 inch gaps on here. So now we've got the pockets.
This is not tricky, is it? It's not even 6:30 and it's virtually made already.
Yes, if you're like me and you forget birthdays sometimes and you've got to rustle something up quick, this is a nice one to do. Now, for yourself, you might want to top stitch this. So on my sample there, you can see Chrissy, who made the samples for me, she's top stitched all the way around using a zigzag, or you can jump straight in. Now, on the top here, again, it's important so you know what you're popping inside. If you want them to tuck in nice and close, you can do, or you can just make that little lip an inch, 2 inches. I think in the pattern it says 2 inches, but for this one, I'm going to keep this in line with the top of the fold. Now, I will hand stitch that at a later stage.
And if you wanted to put like a popper on there or some Velcro or anything like that, you could do that?
You could put that on, but to be honest with you, once you roll it up, it secures everything in there as well.
True.
So the last thing to do is to just sew along the top of there. So again, and so I'm sewing about 1/8 of an inch from the folded edge there. And all this is really is to secure that little flap into place and give this a nice finish. And then you're ready, you can see, you know, really we've made this in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Thereabout. This is a nice project. I mean, if you're making this for the first time, it might take a little bit longer. But there's our first project made.
Wow,
this morning.
that's impressive. I mean, it is lovely to have things on the go, maybe big quilts that take you weeks, months, maybe even years sometimes. But isn't it lovely to have little projects that you can make in next to no time? I mean, that was done live on TV, in front of your eyes. It doesn't take long at all, and you can make those pockets as wide or as narrow as you like. But it's all about, for me, it's all about the fabric. It's really bright, it's really cheerful. And remember what you're going to get in the kit. Let me just show you again exactly what you're going to be making, what you're going to be getting. You get the step-by-step picture instructions. So this is the pattern, which you can use again and again and again. I mean, what would you sell a wrap for if you made these? What would you sell a wrap for?
It would really depend on your fabric, what fabric you're using. But yeah, I'm not gonna quote that one just in case I offend anybody or give somebody the wrong price.
Fair enough. But you've got the pattern, you've got everything that you need, all the instructions, all the measurements, so you can make it out of all the fabrics you've got at home already. But of course, in the kit today, you're going to be getting these two beautiful fabrics. That's the hibiscus, a riot of turquoise pink and almost like a creamy colour or peachy colour. And then you've got your hummingbird and your fuchsia fabric here, which is the most tropical of all of them. I think that has to be the outside, doesn't it?
Yeah, I love this one.
Me too. Really, really beautiful, really lovely. It just makes you happy, doesn't it? An absolute riot of colour, very Caribbean. And then you've got your wadding, of course, as well. And that just gives it that, not rigidity, because you don't want it to be rigid, but it gives it that little bit of substance, which makes it really, really easy to actually kind of roll up.
As well, isn't it? You know, if you're gifting this or if you're putting these on your craft fairs or selling these as part of your, you know, your little business, you really want it to have that plushness and that nice finish on there.
Totally. Well, the whole thing is only $15.99. And again, once you've got the pattern, as I said, you can make as many as you like. So it's a really good investment. And yeah, if you would like that, it's DRL158. And don't forget, if you do want the heat erasable pen...
You were going to have a little sing then.
If you want the heat erasable pen, that is going to be just, was it $2.99? Yeah, $2.99. Multi-order them if you want to, but remember, you only ever pay 1 P&P here at Hobbymaker of $3.95, no matter how many orders you make during the day, midnight to midnight on a daily basis. So that's DRL158 for the kit. So that is our wrap. We'll come back to that and remind you of that a little bit later on. Now, the next one we're going to move on to is the Verity. Now, the Verity, this is a vinyl bag. So this is great for, again, things that potentially might leak or anything like that.
You could use that for things that might leak. I tend to do it so I know where the things are that I've put in a safe place. So.
That makes sense, absolutely. So you've got, this is the Verity bag. So have a little look at this. You can see exactly what's inside your bag. And this is $14.99. These prices are crazy. Really
they're good, aren't they?
Really good prices. NFL 1, 2, 3. This could be a back-to-school bag. It could be where your kids put all their kind of school gear, their pencils, their pens, their protractors, all that sort of thing. Or it could be a makeup bag, because again, you can see all of your bits and pieces that are in there as well. It's a good size for a makeup bag, isn't it?
It's a lovely size for a makeup bag. I tend to use it, to be honest with you. So whenever I mean, in our patterns, every piece, as you can see, has got a template. So we try and do full-size templates. For projects like this, you'll have your full-size templates. But what can happen if your life's anything like mine is something comes up, somebody knocks the door, it just means you can, you know, wrap these up and keep it all in one place so it's nice and organised. You've got the clear pocket, so it makes a nice little project bag as well.
Yep.
So if you're working on something, you want to slip it into your bag, they make nice little project bags, only for small projects, of course.
Okay.
That's what I tend to use mine for.
Now, let me show you what's in this particular kit. Similar, but different to the other one, obviously. You've got, again, these wonderful fabrics. Here's more hummingbirds.
Like a hummingbird.
You do love a hummingbird. But yeah, it's just really beautiful. Really, really lovely. So hummingbird, and is that hibiscus as well?
It is.
Right, okay. So all this kind of ties together nicely. Then you've got your hibiscus in the pink.
That's it.
Wow.
Isn't it nice in the pink?
What a gorgeous, gorgeous colourways. Absolutely gorgeous. So there's your hibiscus in the pink. You then also get your clear plastic, of course. Is this a special type of plastic?
It's just a clear vinyl.
Clear vinyl, okay. And then you get your zip. Now remember, the zips that we had at the beginning of the show are your early birds. So you are going to get, with every project that needs a zip, you'll get one. Now this is the 8-inch zip in this one, yeah?
This one's the 10.
Oh, the 10, beg your pardon.
10.
Okay, so if you want the 10-inch zip, you will get one with your project, and you get the project book, of course, as well. But if you want to stock up on more of the 10-inch zips, then we have got those available, remember, and they're our early bird. They're on the website right now. A pack of 5 10-inch zips available as the early bird. Now, this doesn't come with just pattern only. It just comes as the kit, okay? And again, Kerry was saying earlier on, if you just open up the pages, you can see every single page has got not only step-by-step written instructions, but step-by-step pictured instructions as well. So that's what I like about it. Simple and easy to do, but it's a really good, can I borrow your ruler? Size of the bag, you're looking at around about 11 inches? Yep. 11 inches.
I think I've got it on the back of the bag, so 8 by 12.
8 by 12.
8 by
okay.
12.
8 by 12 in size, but that's a really good size for all sorts of things. I mean, everyone will probably use these bags for completely different things, but to have that window on the front so you can see what's in there.
Where you've hidden your secret things.
Yeah, your secret stash or whatever.
I'm very good at doing that.
And again, the zip is included, but if you want the extra 10-inch zips, they're on the show as the early bird. Okay, so what do we do first?
Shall we have a little
crack on?
Can I have the piece of vinyl from your...
Yep.
That's it. I think mine slipped onto the floor, so save me bending down to
Okay.
grab that one. So, as I mentioned, each of your templates is the correct size in here. So what I would recommend is always cutting your pieces. Now, I do recommend either drawing or writing it on with a letter, because I refer to each piece from each pattern as a letter. So you can either write that onto the fabric, or like I've done, just pin it into position. So as we work through the pattern booklet, you know where you're going and which piece I'm referring to. We like anything that makes life a little bit easier.
Oh, yeah.
So the binding we perhaps won't get a chance to do today. There's plenty of fabrics in there, so you could mix these up if you wanted to. So the first piece I'm going to work with is the top and the bottom of the vinyl. So you've got 2 pieces here. And what we're going to do is to place them onto the pressing mat, wrong side facing towards you. And then we'll fold these in half and just give these a little press. Mm-hmm. And then we'll fold again into that centre fold. Now, the reason that I'm doing this is to put a nice, it really is to make it decorative, but it also encases that vinyl, making it much easier to sew through, because you are in fact sewing your needles first coming into contact with your fabric. Now, if you're sewing with vinyl, this is a really small piece of vinyl inside this project, but if you're intending on making several of these or lots of projects with vinyl, then I'd recommend swapping your needle over to a leather needle. It makes it much easier when you're sewing, because sometimes you can find if you're not swapping over, your stitches will skip.
Right.
So it just saves the frustration of that. But again, that's recommended in your pattern. So I've folded these 2 into the centre fold, and then I'll just fold this once more. Then we'll take the vinyl, so just give that a moment or 2 to cool down. Then we'll take the vinyl, and what we're going to do is to open this up and just put that vinyl up to that centre there. So lining it up, making sure that's nice and snug. This really is where your quilting clips, if you've got those, come in handy. You want to avoid pinning into your vinyl. And we'll do the same on the opposite side. So just folding this across, clipping this into position. And then we've got 1 here, 2 for the top of the zip. So if I just, that's it. So you've got, there we go. So you've got 2 pieces of fabric. So if you have a little look inside,
right, yeah.
It just means that you're not got any raw edges in there.
Right.
So we'll work with that one in just a moment. I'll just make myself a little bit of space. Now, I was saying to you, Dave, that I'm very good at putting things in a special place, and that's exactly what I've done this morning. So when you come to do your zip installation, wash away quilter's tape or even a sew-line glue pen works really well. So if you've got that in your stash, I will talk you through that.
Because some people are a little bit daunted about putting zips in, aren't they?
Yeah,
It can be a bit scary,
to be
but-
honest, that's why a lot of the projects that I do have zips in, and I, like to give as much details about how to make it simpler. So I'll show you in a little while how we keep it nice and simple. But I definitely find that with running classes, people will start and they'll avoid zips for as long as possible. And in fact, I had a class last week, and I've got one of my ladies that comes to my class. She's been sewing with me about 8 years, and she said this year's the year that she's conquering zips.
Wow.
This is
She's
the
avoided
year.
them for
She's
8
avoided
years.
them, yeah.
Wow.
If she's making a cushion, I'll say, should we put a zip in the back, and I'll just get the stare. That's
So
a
what
no.
does she have instead? Flaps normally? Or?
She'll put an envelope back on, or create a lot more work for herself to avoid putting a zip in. So I'm really impressed. If she's watching today, she'll know who it is. So it makes me really happy, actually, because it's just a lovely skill.
It's nice as well to have that vinyl, because normally when we're seeing kind of fabric kits, it's usually just fabric and not anything like this. So to have that window so you can see what's inside your bag, you've got a few of them stacked up. You're not opening them trying to find what you're looking for.
Absolutely. Well, I should have put my wash away tape in there, shouldn't I?
You should.
It'll be in the green room on the table, you'll see when I go out. So what we're going to do then, in that case, if you're working with the wash away quilter's tape, at this point, just run a strip on the front and the back, and it just makes it easier for that zip installation. Always check that your zip works. And whenever you're popping a zip in, what we want to do is to just make sure it's open half the way. So we're going to place the zip flat onto the fabric along that raw edge just here. And then we'll bring the second piece on top again along that raw edge and just clip that into position. Now if you're using your wash away tape, like a double-sided tape, except the stickiness doesn't transfer onto your needle, that's what's special about it. It just saves all this pinning. So I'm just going to pin along this raw edge.
And if you want those extra zips, remember, if you fancy making this bag and maybe making many, many more in your own fabric, and you want to stock up on the 10-inch zips, that's the early bird that we talked about earlier on. You may or may not have been with us at dead on 6 o'clock. So we've got a special offer on the 10-inch zips. You get 5 in the pack. Now, you're getting 5. I'm no expert when it comes to zips or anything like that, but I would have thought you'd pay this sort of price for 1. But you are getting 5 of them in different colorways. Colors will vary, but the lovely thing is you can make a feature. I think lots of people make features out of zips now. I see lots of ladies' dresses with zips that are very visible and are a different colour to the fabric.
No, I think that's really nice, actually, because before it would always be concealed zips, but having that there, I don't know, it just really makes it pop, doesn't
Well,
it?
$3.99 gets you 5, and this is our early bird, really, really good deal. So it's working out to about 80 pence roughly per zip here in 5 different colorways. You will get different colors, but they will be 5 different ones. And we've also got the same offer going on with the 8-inch. And the reason we're putting those 2 in the show today, the 8-inch.
It's because we want you to put zips in everything.
We do. But also, they work with the kits that are in the show today. So again, if you buy a kit and you want more zips to go into the same order, you save on the P&P as well at the same time. And I think $3.99 for 5 zips is pretty amazing.
It's very good.
Yeah.
It's very good. There you go.
Oh, we got a message. Jennifer, morning Jennifer, hello, thank you for tuning in to Hobbymaker. Morning, what a lovely surprise, just travelling into work and have you to keep me company. Love Kerry's makes and have a good day from Jen. Jenny, thank you ever so much in Greater London. Maybe you're watching on your phone or your tablet or something like that. We're always here every morning, Monday to Friday anyway, 6 till 8.
Oh, well, thanks for keeping us company this morning as well.
Yeah, thank you. Brilliant.
So I've swapped the machine foot over to the zipper foot now, and we're working on the left side of the zipper foot. And what I tend to find is that the right side here, this is how you know you've got it right, is running along that raw edge here. So I'm just going to pop this back to a straight stitch. You can increase the stitch length as well. So I'm just going to increase that. Oh, a little top tip for you. So before we start sewing, find your zip. I should have done this a little bit before. I'll do it on the opposite side. Pop 2 fingers ahead of that zip and just pop a little pin through. And this reminds you to stop here so you're not coming too close and fighting with the zip.
Right.
And nice and slow. Let's bring that nice and slow. Oops-a-daisy. There we go. So when I arrive at the zip, I'm just going to stop, leave that needle inserted, raise the presser foot, and this will allow me to pivot the project. And reach on the inside there and close that zip. Then going to drop the presser foot and just sew along. So by having that pin there, that's just allowing you to sew in a straight line. Just think of it as a straight line. And you're not having that little bit of a wiggle, which you can often have on a zip because you've not come into contact with it. So the next thing we're going to do is to open up the zip. We will give this a little press because it does make the world of difference. So opening up that zipper now, just checking your fabric's not coming into contact with that. And we'll just run the iron over the top, just to give that a nice finish. From the back.
Can you just move it over a slightly?
Yeah.
For us? Thank you.
So from the back, we just want to make sure that that fabric is out of the way of the zipper. And that's what giving it a little press really helps with. Because if you just try and finger press it, sometimes it pops up. And then when you're trying to open your zipper, you're not able to get into there.
Right, got you.
So what we'll do now is to just pop this back onto the sewing machine. We'll swap the foot over to the opposite side. Open up that zipper again. So as I mentioned, might be easier to see now. 2 finger spaces ahead of your zipper and just slide that pin in. So that's just a little reminder again, that's where you're stopping.
Right.
Okay. Done that wrong.
And all these tips are in the instructions on the pattern and everything?
Yeah, everything's in there.
Great.
So all your measurements as well. So popping this back onto this sewing machine now. And we're simply going to sew along. Again, I'm keeping my stitch length to the longest stitch length. Oops-a-daisy. I didn't want to do that, did it? I think I must have moved that across. So let me just swap the needle over. Hopefully I've got one on here.
And remember, if you want these kits today, they're only $14.99. They come with everything you need to make the bag. The only thing that you need, of course, is a machine and thread. The rest of it is all included. And you get the 10-inch zip included as well, full pictorial instructions. And the kit itself is actually a lovely thing because it comes wrapped up in tissue. You've got a With Love from Kerry sticker on the front as well. So the kit itself makes
You
a
like that
fantastic
little bit,
gift.
don't you?
I do like that, yeah. But then, of course, if you make it, if you want to have the joy of making something, you can then either keep it for yourself or gift it to somebody else if you want to as well. But for £14.99, a really, really good price. And we've already today shown you the wrap as well. This is what we showed you in the early stages of the show. So we've already made this. Kerry made this in about 20 minutes in this tropical fabric. So if you want the wrap with the fabric and the wadding and, of course, the pattern to make more of them in the future, that's also available as well. That was only $14.99 too, I believe, if my memory serves me correct. But we've got the details on the screen at the moment for the vinyl bag. So the vinyl bag is going to come with this wonderful hibiscus pink. It also comes with the hummingbird fabric too, and it comes with the wadding as well.
That's the one.
And the zip.
So I'm ready for you now. I'll make sure I press the right button. So I obviously press the width rather than the length. So now we're set back up with a new needle.
Yep.
We're popping this back in so the side of your machine foot is nice and close to your zipper. I've increased the stitch length. I'm just going to double check that for my own peace of mind. Then we're sewing along to this pin. When you arrive at the pin, leave your needle inserted. And then as you raise your presser foot, open up the zip. Tuck that out of the way. Then we can sew along right to the other end. And I always increase the stitch length just for 2 reasons. One, I tend to find it looks a little bit more decorative, but the other reason is it travels across the fabric a lot easier as well. So this really is where, if you've got that wash away tape in your stash, that this is really helpful. So at this stage, you'd pop your wash away tape on the top here.
And the wash away tape gives you what, a sticky surface?
It's like a sticky surface, a double-sided tape. So that's how normally I would pop it in, and I'll mention that in the pattern booklet as well. But as I've not got it here, I'm just going to open the zip right open and just clip this into place. Again, still trying to avoid using the pins.
Now, just to let you know, the vinyl that's included in the kit, we actually do have extra 0.5 meters of vinyl available for $3.99, which is a cracking price. So if you've got other projects that you want to make like this, using the vinyl to have that window to see what's inside your bag, $3.99 for a 0.5 meter by 60 inches. And that's, again, UWL 106 if you just want that.
You'll be able to make plenty of the
You
bags.
would? Yeah, yeah.
Plenty of the bags. So once I've clipped this into place, what I'm going to do now is, again, just line that zipper foot up. I've still got this on a straight stitch. And I'm going to sew to about the middle of the project, and at this point close that zipper up. So I will need to just move that clip for now, but it is nice and secure into place anyway. So I'm going to close the zip, so just pivoting this around to make it much easier to sew along that edge there.
So there's nothing to be scared of when it comes to sewing zips.
And if you do break a needle, like I did, swap it over and start again.
Right.
Nice and easy. So you've got your your zipper on the centre there, and all I've done here really is just made sure when you're looking inside the bag, especially because you've got that clear vinyl, is that you've got that lovely fabric on the inside as well.
Right.
And we've cut the fabric down. Now I did choose to bind this project, so for this particular one, because I've got the pink binding on the outside, in fact let's go the other way because that's got the white, hasn't it? So I'm going to use the white on the back, and then we'll have the pink on the inside. So I've got two nice coordinating ones. Now, first thing to do is to just sew around this, just using a basting stitch all the way around to secure those fabrics. But just for time this morning, I'm going to place this on top, just trim away those excess threads, and then clip through those layers. Now, there is a binding on this project as well, and there's plenty of fabric in the kit for you to play with. You might want to put the white on or the pink. It's entirely up to you. That's interchangeable. But
To be honest, either of them as the main colour of the bag would look lovely, wouldn't it?
absolutely. Absolutely.
Do you travel far and wide to find the fabrics that you put in your kits?
I think because I've been buying fabric for so long, I know my favourite designs,
Right.
really. So, but I'm very easily pleased too. Anything
Oh, yeah.
bright
Brighter
and
the better.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll swap the foot back over. And as I said, we're just simply going to secure this into place just by using a basting stitch. So the longest stitch on your machine, about 1/8 of an inch from the edge. And this just makes it a little bit easier. All of your layers together.
And if you just switched on this morning, Kerry's here, and we've got 4 different products for you in these 2 shows, or 2 hours. And Kerry's mission is to make all 4 of them before the end of the 7 o'clock show, before 8 o'clock. So, you know,
No
these
pressure.
are not projects, no pressure, no. These are projects that aren't going to take you long at all. You can do them in an afternoon or a morning or something like that. Even if you're a beginner, these are all fun. Coming together nicely.
I think, you know, it's really nice to have the option, isn't it? So if you've got little projects like this, you know, these come together easily. And I think as crafters, really, we tend to, I would definitely say I dabble with lots of things. So I do like lots of different crafts. So little projects like this allow you to make something, have that instant satisfaction, you know, in an afternoon or in a couple of hours, as long as it takes you to make your project. And I love making things that are useful, that have a storage in there. Now, I'm not going to put the binding on today. You've got your step-by-step with your binding, but you can see there this one has been made up with your binding, but straight away you've got that lovely little finish.
And again, this bag, as you can see, it's 12, was it 12 by?
12 by 8.
12 by 8, so it's a really good size for your makeup. It could be literally for anything. Bearing in mind we're Hobbymaker, you've got lots of pens, probably got lots of brushes, maybe loads of pencils, lots of tools for your crafting. I mean, you can, if you wanted to, you could actually maybe hang this. You could put a little kind of cup hook on there or something like that. Hang it if you wanted to. Maybe have a few of these hung on a shelf, maybe side by side, one for your pens, one for your pencils, one for your
You're
brushes.
very organised, aren't you?
Try to be. My other half wouldn't agree with you there, but anyway. $14.99 gets you the kit, and remember the kit comes with everything you need. You've got your vinyl, you've got your 10-inch zip, you've got your wadding, and you've got your 2 beautiful tropical fabrics, all wrapped up in tissue paper with, of course, the pattern, which allows you to make this bag in multiple ways with different fabrics. Now, I'll just show you the vinyl quickly, because we did mention this earlier on. If you're wondering just how much vinyl you're going to get for that price, look, that is a lot.
You'll be able to make plenty bags.
Yeah, a lot for $3.99. And did you say earlier on, I missed it if you did, do you need to put a special needle on for this? Or?
If you're making lots of these, so the small project that I've made today, I personally tend not to swap the needle over, and that's because I'm sewing into the fabric as well.
Yeah.
If you're doing a project where you're sewing directly into the vinyl, then I would absolutely recommend using a leather needle in there.
Right.
It just stops the skipping of your stitches.
Okay, well, if you fancy going for that vinyl, then if that's what you would like to incorporate into your projects, just $3.99 for that. It's on the website for you as well. Now, again, I mentioned earlier on in the beginning of the show this morning at 6 o'clock, we brought you the accessory roll. Now, I'm very well aware that between 6 and 8, an awful lot of people are getting up at different times, are in various different levels of consciousness, and maybe you don't turn the TV on.
I don't get up at 6 o'clock usually.
I don't normally either, no. But let's have a little look at this. This accessory roll can be for anything. We talked about it being for jewellery. It could be for your pencils, it could be for your pens, it could be for your makeup brushes. It's entirely up to you. And the beauty of making it yourself is you're not being dictated to as to how big or how thin the pockets need to be. So yeah, you tailor make it to what you're going to be using it for. You get the fabric, and the fabric is this lovely hummingbird tropical fabric. You've got the beautiful hibiscus fabric as well, which we've chosen that to be the inside, but if you wanted that equally to be the outside fabric, just swatch it round. It's entirely up to you. You get a half, is it a metre of ribbon?
A
metre of ribbon, which we cut down there, so you've got about ½ metre left. And of course the idea is that you just, whatever's inside there, roll it up. The cotton kind of cocoons anything that's in there and protects it. So this one, if you want the accessory roll, is $15.99. And again, you get the pattern so you can make these as many times as you like with other fabrics that you've got. This is DRL 158, and this is the kit itself, just to remind you of what you get. The pattern that Kerry brings, and Kerry's got a huge fan base. She's going to be on Sewing Street later on this morning as well. Now, if you want the pattern on its own, if you've got fabric at home that you want to make the wrap into, but you just want the pattern on its own, that is £6.99 for the pattern. And again, it's all pictured as well as words, and all that you need is actually listed on the back of the pattern. So if in the future you forget exactly the fabric sizes that you need, it's all there in black and white. You've got then your pattern sheets, which gives you all the dimensions and measurements you need. And then you've got your wadding, you've got your hummingbird fabric, and you've got your hibiscus fabric as well. All of that for just $15.99, but if you want the pattern on its own, that is £6.99 just for the pattern individually. But $15.99 for the whole thing is really good value. And it's you that knows what you're going to use it for and what you're going to put in there, so you just basically sew the sides of the pockets that you're after. $6.99 for the pattern, or $15.99 for the complete kit. The pattern details DPL 118 is your item number for that. And then, of course, we went on to this one, which is the Verity bag, isn't it, this one? Now, the Verity bag is absolutely gorgeous and very practical. It's about 12 inches by 8 inches in size. So it's kind of a clutch size, but it's got lots of capacity. And because you've got that clear vinyl included, you can see exactly what's in each bag. And like Kerry was saying, you know, make multiples of these. You could put your pens in one, pencils in another, brushes in another. This could be a makeup bag. Maybe you've got a makeup bag at the moment. You can never find what you want because it's basically a solid panelled bag. You can see easily inside there.
Absolutely.
What's what?
And the only other thing that I was going to say is if you didn't want to bind the bag, where we've put the fabric onto the back, if you were to layer it up as it is here, so you'd put your batting, your interior fabric, and then the panel with your zip and your vinyl. Instead of putting this on the back, if you put this on top pattern facing, leave a little gap at the bottom, sew around your exterior and pull that through in the same way we did the accessory roll. And then you simply go into top stitch to finish that off. Then that cuts out the binding. But I really like seeing binding on a project.
Me too.
I think it's
binding
a nice
finishes
way
it
to
off, definitely.
get the most out of your fabric as well.
Now, after 7 o'clock, you'll be able to watch this back a bit later on today if you want to on our website. And that's always the case with all of our shows. So if when you, maybe you're going out in a minute and you're thinking, oh, I wish I'd watched that show. Come back later on, 2 o'clock this afternoon or whatever. You can look back on the website, hobbymaker.co.uk, and you can watch the 6 o'clock show back. You can watch the 7 o'clock show back. I mean, you were saying to me earlier on today, you're still getting orders from our show we did together, what, 3-4 weeks ago?
Yeah, 21st of May, that was.
Is that 21st of May?
No, not May, sorry. What month are we now? August. 21st of July.
21st of July.
I don't know where I got May. May is my daughter's birthday, so that was obviously having that on my mind there.
You know, loads of you do watch the shows back days, even weeks after they've gone out. So provided the stock's still available, you can do that and you can still order way down the line. But if you order now, we'll get it to you as soon as possible. NFL 123, that's the Verity vinyl bag and the pattern and everything you need. Now, the next one we're going to do is the tote bag. Now, the tote bag, that's that one there, isn't it?
Yep.
Yep. Now, you look at this, you think, how is that a tote bag? That's a little love heart, isn't it? Basically, it's a bag within a bag. This is the ideal bag for your everyday shopping. When you're out in the car, and if you're anything like me and you've got like bags for life everywhere, and maybe a boot full of them, they can get cumbersome and get a little bit in the way. The idea behind this is that you can quite simply release the toggle on here, and then if I just open this up, it's like magic. Look at this. There you go. A really good size, over-the-shoulder tote bag, great for your shopping, great for maybe even school books and things like that, I suppose, possibly it could be too. But it rolls up and literally tucks itself in, which is so clever. Now, you are getting everything you need in the kit itself to make the bag. If I just undo the tissue again. I do love the fact you wrap everything up in tissue.
Oh, I love doing that.
Now, it just makes it even more special, doesn't it?
There's a few of us. It's not just me. I can't take all the credit.
Okay. Now look at that fabric. The cherry fabric in that lovely rich royal blue with those beautiful red cherries. You get the cord, the drawstring. You get the little toggle as well. Has that got a name? What do you call these things?
Double toggle, that one is.
Double toggle,
yeah.
Okay. And then, again, you get the full instructions as well. But this is so cool, because you can actually kind of put that bag in your pocket, couldn't you?
Absolutely.
Your coat pocket.
And I've put a little lobster clasp on there, because I just think it's quite nice even to just pop onto your, your trolley coin that you perhaps have. So everything's together, you're not forgetting this when you go shopping. So they often come with a little keyring or even onto the side of your keyrings when you're out and about, so you don't forget them.
There's your cord, and here is your pattern. I mean, everybody needs bags. Everybody uses bags for their shopping, but not everybody wants to have the big cumbersome bags that take up so much room in the boot of your car or in the kitchen or whatever. So why not have a bag that literally folds up to virtually nothing? It goes from that to that in seconds. That's £14.99. Now, not everybody needs a wrap, not everybody needs necessarily the Verity, but everybody needs a shopping bag.
We all do.
We all need a shopping bag. Presumably easy to make?
Definitely easy. Can I have the cherry fabric? I'm just going to put a little piece out of that one. Nice and easy to make. All of the projects that we've brought along today are fast projects. So that's really what we chose for the theme of the day, really nice, easy projects to make.
And if you are making gifts for later in the year, for Christmas or whatever, you've got plenty of time to do it. None of these projects are going to take you more than probably a morning to do, even if you're a beginner.
Absolutely.
If you're an accomplished sewer, probably even maybe just a few minutes.
Yeah.
And you're going to do 4 projects in 2 hours, which is pretty impressive.
Let's go for that, shall we? So the first thing that we're going to do is to create our handles. So I've put some nice slim handles in this one. Now, I would always recommend working with a lightweight fabric for this particular project, and that's because we want it to fold up and to tuck into that little bag that we've got.
Yeah, you wouldn't put wadding in it or anything
no,
like that.
No wadding, no interfacing, no lining, a nice light this is a poplin cotton that I'm working with, or even a poly cotton works really nice. So what I'm going to do first is to just fold the handle. You can pin it if you want to, but we really don't need to. Fold the handle in half, and we're just going to run this on the sewing machine. 1/4 inch seam allowance is more than enough. Start with a reverse stitch. Have I lost the bobbin there? Let's just pop a new bobbin in. We've been busy sewing, we've run out of a bobbin. It was bound to happen today. There we
And
go.
what hours are you on Sewing Street today?
9 and 11.
9
today.
and 11, okay. So with us until 8, then back on 9 and 11 with Sewing Street. And Sewing Street, of course, follows us. And then we're back on at 1 o'clock this afternoon with lots more goodies on Hobbymaker.
So just start in there with that reverse stitch, and then we're simply going to sew along the full length of the handle.
And later today, by the way, we've got Paper Dynamics and also, I think it's Crafter's Companion later today as well. Creative Expressions, beg your pardon. Creative Expressions and Paper Dynamics on Hobbymaker between 1 and 6 this afternoon.
And then when you arrive at the end, we'll finish that with a reverse stitch again. We'll repeat that on both handles. So it is quite difficult to see actually the right side of this fabric. I don't think it makes a huge amount of difference on this particular print.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean.
Sometimes you can really tell, but...
yeah, I mean the cherries have got little speckles of white on one side and not on the other, so probably the other side is the... Yeah.
That's it.
There is no right or wrong there.
Well, it depends, because sometimes you think, oh, I'll just leave it if I've done it the wrong way, but then you know. And it's hard to let go then, isn't it?
Everybody needs a bag like this, and the kit, remember, comes with a pattern. The pattern you can reuse again and again and again. Imagine having, you know, maybe you sew your cards, and that's all you've done really at craft fairs. Why not have a selection of these bags? I mean, what would you sell bags like this for? I mean, probably what, $9.99, $12.99, something like that. So you've got the pattern, you can make as many as you like, and the cost of the fabric wouldn't be very much going forward either. So start a little business.
Absolutely.
Everybody
That's how I started.
Is it?
Yeah.
What, in craft fairs and things like that?
So once I started making things for my youngest son when I was on maternity leave, and I just didn't want to go back to work.
Right.
I wanted to stay at home as long as I could. With my younger children, I stayed at home for a while, so I wanted to do that with my youngest. And so when it was time to go back, I just approached shops and asked them if I could stock my collections there. And I did that for a few years, and that was really good. That worked
terrific.
really well.
Well, now, this is the one that we've got least of, and it is by far the most popular item of the show so far. We always find that after 7 o'clock, we get a lot busier. I think maybe many people's alarms go off at 7, and maybe you're watching TV in bed at the moment or whatever. Remember, you can make this bag. It's got a gorgeous cherry fabric as well, which I think is absolutely lovely. And it's just $14.99, and you get everything you need in there to make it. And then the pattern, we can reuse the pattern again and again and again going forward. And if I just show you again, the idea is that this just literally rolls up, because there's no wadding or interface in it or anything like that. It just literally rolls up, and then you just tuck it into the little pocket at the bottom there.
Push it in. People always ask, is there a special way?
Nope.
You can make a special way if you want to.
Pop it in there, and then you've got your drawstring, and then you've got your little clip that you can put it on your belt of your trousers or your jeans, or clip it onto your bag if you want to. You've always got the bag for life with you, but it doesn't take up any room. It's cool. FYL 120.
So what I'm doing now is I've just popped a safety pin just on the end, so I've pushed this through into the centre, and as I push that through the channel, this will just turn this the right way out. You could use a bodkin as well if you wanted to, so if you've got a bodkin, in your collection, but a safety pin will work just as well. So as you're pushing that through the channel there, just pulling it back on itself, and this is turning this the right way out, and just tucking all of those raw edges out of the way.
That's a really good good tip, to use a safety pin. I haven't seen that technique before.
Well, I think, you know, I mean, we've all got different accessories. I wouldn't be without my bodkin, to be honest, but even when you buy the most simplest of sewing kits, you know, they tend to come with a safety pin in there, don't they? So it's a nice little accessory to have, and you can see how fast that turns it the right way out. Easy. So we'll do that on the second one as well. So I just slide it through.
These kits are so quick to do, aren't they?
They're all quick kits.
We like that.
We certainly do. I love designing little fast projects, and like I said right at the beginning, useful projects. I tend to think, what do I need? What am I missing? But yeah, you know, they're nice little projects to make.
And it could be that you are just starting out on your kind of sewing adventure, or maybe you used to be a sewer, and you've not done it for a few years, maybe you kind of gave it up for a little while, maybe work got in the way or family got in the way, and you're thinking, I would really like to start to do something like this, then these kits are a perfect place to either begin or to restart. And don't forget, if you are wanting to stock up on zips this morning, we've got our early bird bargain of the pack of 5 10-inch zips and 8-inch zips, $3.99 for a pack of 5 in both 10 and 8-inch options. There are early birds. They're on the website right now, or the operator can put them in your basket if you'd like to. And these are going to work with the projects that we've got in the show for you as well. I mean, all the projects will come with zips if needed, but if you want extras, we've got the 10 and we've got the 8-inch available, and they're on the website now.
I always think as well, when you're, you're buying gifts for people who sew or are creative, they're nice little stocking fillers, aren't they?
Oh, totally, yeah.
When I started, making things to sell and classes and patterns, I used to have lots of crafty things brought for me, but nobody ever buys me crafty things now. They just assume I've got it all. I'm like, I would appreciate lots of packs of zips, actually. That would be...
You can never have too many.
Absolutely. I remember one Christmas, my mum bought me some scissors, and I was so excited. I hadn't been with my husband now 22 years. Craig, he runs the business with me. And I was so excited about these scissors, and he was like, really? Scissors? That's all you wanted? And I was like, absolutely, that's the best Christmas present.
But if you're into your fabrics, I mean, that's a big deal, isn't it?
Yeah.
Your tools of the trade.
And sometimes you tend not to treat yourself, you wait for somebody else to treat you to things like that. So I always think a little nice stocking fillers. Now, on the sample that you've got there, in fact, I didn't make these. Chrissy made these for me, these samples for me. She's gone to all the effort of zigzag stitching the sides of the handle. So, if you're making these to sell or you're making these as a gift, then it is nice to add that. I mean, look at the stitching on the side.
Actually, yeah, that's really decorative, isn't it? It makes a feature of it. Rather than trying to make the stitching disappear, make it part of the design.
And the steps are in there to do that as well. Now, the lobster clasp is optional again. If you want to have a little lobster clasp on the side, and that's really to hook it, what you're going to do is to take the little loop from your fabric, fold it in half, bring that raw edge into the centre fold there. Now, it depends. So if you have a little look at the lobster clasp that I've got here, just in front of you.
Oh, here.
Or is the one there that comes in your kit?
Yeah, there is one that comes in the kit.
So if I just show you the one with your kit there. There we go.
There it is.
So the one that we've popped in with a kit, before you might already have these, and it might be a slimmer one. So you can move this around to fit into your lobster clasp. So if you've got a nice slim one, fold it into the centre. But if you've got a nice wide one like I've got here, what we want to happen is that this lobster clasp will hook through.
I just love the idea of always having the bag with you, because the number of times I've gone out to the supermarket, left the bags at home, or got into the supermarket and remember that they're in the boot of the car. If you've got it clipped to your belt or got it clipped to...
That's why I put a clip on, because I was saying to my children, I've left the bags in the boot when you just run past, and they're teenagers, so they just grunt at me like it's a lot of effort. So lobster clasps is my way forward, to be honest. Where did I just put that little loop? There we go. So this one I am going to zigzag stitch. There we go. Now, if you're thinking of making lots of these for your weekly shop as well, they can all hook together, can't they? You could maybe even use a key ring and just have, them all onto one key ring. The more you make, I think the more inventive you get.
But also, if you're going out for the day, the last thing you want to do is, carrying around big, bulky shopping bags. That's the last thing you need. So to have this so portable, it can go into a pocket, it can clip on your belt loop, or whatever.
Absolutely. So what I've done there is I've just folded the lobster clasp loop, and I'll just tuck that to one side. Just for now, I'll just pop this out of the way for a moment. The next thing that we're going to do is there's like a little channel now where your cord runs through. So you can, if you want to, press this, and in the pattern instruction booklet I do say to press it, but we're going to finger press just over once and twice. Pop a little clip on. That's to stop any of the raw edges. So we're just double hemming at this stage, and that's just to stop the raw edges. Sorry. The more you take that bag in and out, the more that's going to pull onto this little seam. So same on the opposite side. Fold it in once, fold it in twice, finger press this or press it with your iron, whichever you prefer. Give that a little pin, and again onto here. And we'll just sew across that double hem there. Now, I love working with a nice contrasting fabric.
So the cord is basically the top of the little pocket that the bag folds into. That's where you use that's the drawstring, isn't it, really?
That's it, yeah.
Yeah. Now we have also got the accessories on their own available as well. So we've got the lobster claw clasps, if you want those, a pack of 2. And they're 25mm ones, and they're just $2.99, so they're available if that's what you're liking the look of, if you want to maybe make your own key rings or whatever. Now we've also got some cord as well. Now you're going to get the blue cord, of course, for that bag. Actually, this colour would go with that bag really well as well. Now this is actually 5 metres of drawstring cord for just $3.99. So really affordable. That's UAL 179, 5 metres of yellow cord. If you're wanting to go for the main collection or the main bag pattern with everything else, all the fabric, and want to make more of them, then we've got the extra of the cord, extra of the lobster claws, and we've also got the double toggles as well. A couple of those. I mean, this is the sort of thing you'd struggle to find somewhere, isn't it?
Absolutely.
If you fancy going for these to make more bags, a pack of 2 of these are $2.99, so only £1.50 each, basically. And again, where on earth would you go to find those? We've got them in the show today for you. So for those of you that wanted to go forward and make lots of these bags, everyday bags, stock up on those as well at the same time. You've got 1 P&P all day of $3.95. Do bear that in mind too.
Skipped ahead to do one side of the triangle, and I'll show you on the opposite side what I've done there. So the little channel that we've just made, what we're going to do is fold this in half to marry up those raw edges. Let's do that again. And just give that a little press. Again, you could finger press this, but I find it's much easier to keep the fabric in place if you just give that a little press there, and it secures it into place. We're then going to centre it on the triangle, or if you like it absolutely accurate, an easy way to do this is to fold your triangle in half. There we go, and to just finger press to find that centre. Same with your channel. And then we're going to rest those 2 fold lines on top. Just one clip on there will be absolutely fine. And what we're going to do is to sew to secure this to that triangle. So this time we're just using a nice straight stitch.
It's a very clever design, this, isn't it? To have that pocket that the bag folds itself in on. Really unusual, really different.
It's just nice that it tucks away and it's, you know, will sit in your handbag or, like you say, on there. So to, again, because you're pulling your bag in and out, what I've done on mine, and again, you'll find those in the pattern instruction booklet, is to just press that raw edge down where it naturally wants to go into that little triangle there. And the zigzag stitch that we're about to put on acts for 2 reasons. One, it stops any pressure on that raw edge and fraying as we're using it. And from the outside, it looks nice and decorative. So there we go. So I'm just going to rest this onto the sewing machine, and then it just marries up with all the other parts.
None of these projects are difficult. They're all relatively simple and easy to follow. They really, really are. So if you're a beginner and you're thinking, I fancy sewing, but I don't really know where to start, any of the 4 kits we've got on the show today will be perfect for you.
There we go.
And if you don't own a sewing machine, Sewing Street, of course, have got loads of them for you. You'll see those on their website as well. But you can do some of these by hand. I mean, this bag you could probably do by hand.
You can do all of these projects by hand. The only thing I would say is if you were going to do this by hand, you'd really have to reinforce some of the stitches.
Yeah.
Because of the use, you know, it will be going in and out. So we've got that zigzag stitch just along the top. 1, it looks nice and decorative, but 2, if you look on the opposite side, that's just going to, almost like an overlocking stitch, if you like, stop that raw edge from fraying when you're popping your bag in and out. So let's do the handles now. So onto the handles, just taking that bag. Let's get this the right way. Now I find the centre of my bag just simply by folding this. You can measure it, and again the measurements are in the pattern booklet. So fold this into the centre and we'll go into quarters.
Oh, by the way, the pattern on its own, if you want it, is available. If you don't want the fabric, but you do want the pattern to make these bags in whatever fabric you have at home, just the pattern is $6.99. URL 113 to make this fantastic, versatile, everyday tote bag. That's £6.99 just for the pattern. URL 113. But I do love this cherry fabric, though.
It's nice,
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's cool.
It is nice.
Takes me to Ibiza.
Oh, does it?
Yeah. Yeah, the two cherries, the nightclub sign.
Happy days.
Yeah, yeah. In my youth.
Lots of memories.
Yeah.
It's nice how music and fabric does that to us, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, it takes you back.
It's kind of symbol for Pasha, wasn't it? Pasha, the nightclub.
Yes. I have to say I never went, but a friend of mine always talked about it. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do with the handles is to just base these into position. So longest length on your straight stitch. And this is just to stop this coming off and make it a little bit easier when we do the next step, because we're going to be using these, you know, it's designed as a reusable bag for your shopping. Maybe you're going to fill this up and make it really quite weighty. So we really want to secure those handles into position. So if we just do a straight stitch or a basting stitch even onto here, just the handles, you don't need to go across the full length.
Now, by the way, Kerry's actually using the sewing machine that we've got on the screen at the moment. We do have that available if you're interested. It is on split pay as well. It's a really good machine. I can see you're getting on really well with this. $162.25 on split pay, or £649 in one payment. Is this an entry-level machine, would you say, Kerry?
No, not at all. I mean, you've got some lovely stitches on here. You've got your zigzag. What's really nice about the machine is you've got the speed control. So it's definitely not a basic machine, because you wouldn't have that on just your basic machine. So if you want it to go nice and speedy, you've got the hair. And if you want it to go nice and slow, maybe if you're a beginner or if you're doing a project that you want to take your time with, then you've got the tortoise on there, which is your symbol for going a little bit slower.
And also you've got 100 stitches, lots of them decorative, but they're all on these panels which just pull out here. So at a glance you can see which stitch is which number to dial up on the LCD screen and so on. So it is available from Elna, great brand of sewing machine, obviously, for $649. FPWQ52 is in stock.
You've also got the lock-in stitch and the scissors on here, which is quite nice. And
so it cuts the thread.
So it'll cut the thread, yep. And you've got the start and stop. So instead of using your pedal, like you can see that I'm doing today, you don't need to use the foot pedal if you don't want to. So what we're going to do, what I've just done on the other one, is I'm folding that top raw edge over. This is just to secure the handles and reinforce those into position. And we'll do that twice. So we've folded it once, we'll now bring the handles out of the way. And we'll fold this once more. Now I'm folding that down about 1 inch. You can measure it if you so wish. But I've got the ironing board in front of me so I can pretty much see. And you can do that by eye as well. Now, because we want to reinforce that stitch, we're going to just do a row of stitching across the top and also the bottom fold line on both of these bags. But for today, I'm just going to do one.
Okay.
But for yourself, when you come to do it, I would recommend doing it along the top and the bottom. So I'm just going to, again, use that zigzag stitch.
It's a lovely sense of satisfaction, though, isn't it, when you're making something practical that you can use every day from literally scratch.
It's when people ask where you got it from, and you can say you've made it as well.
Exactly.
That's satisfying.
And then that person will probably say, can you make me one? And it goes from there, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly how it starts.
When people know what you do and you're good at it, you'll be inundated, I'm sure.
That's how I started. People always want something made.
Yeah. Was it work colleagues and people down the road and stuff like that? Word spreads.
Definitely. So I'll do the same on the opposite one, and then all we've got left to do is to pop the triangles onto the bottom to bring that bag ready for our shopping trip later.
Right. Where are you taking me?
Where should we go? Should we go for lunch this time?
Let's do it. Now remember, everything that Kerry's showing you, all the kits Kerry's showing you are on the website right now for you. We've shown you already the wrap. We've done the Verity bag that's got the clear panel of vinyl in the front. And now we're on to the tote bag, and we've still got one more bag to go as well before the end of the show at 8 o'clock. So all of these are achievable, easy, not too long projects.
There we go. So what we're going to do now is you're going to take one, let's just give that corner a press. That's terrible. There we go. Right. So we'll take one of the triangles, pop it into the corner. It doesn't matter which corner. We're then going to take our lobster clasp. Your lobster clasp is optional, so you don't have to put it on if you don't want to. Get asked that quite a lot. You do want to put that lobster clasp about 2 inches up from the bottom.
Right.
And I would, at this stage, just slide a pin through. In fact, we won't slide a pin. We'll just...
I think the lobster clasp makes the bag, as far as I'm concerned, because you've always got somewhere to put it. You know, I hate carrying things, so I always put things down and leave them in different places. So if I've got my shopping bag actually clipped to my belt, I know it's going to be there.
You know exactly where it is.
Yeah, you're not going to leave it in the car by mistake, you're not going to leave it at home by mistake.
So we've got the lobster clasp secured into position. I've got one of the cherry fabrics facing pattern up towards us. Second triangle we pop on top. Now this time they're pattern facing, you'll be able to see the wrong side. And then finally we're going to take the second part of the bag, align that with the bottom. Make sure all those raw edges are marrying up. What's really important here is that that lobster clasp is in position. Then what we'll do is just twist this around and just marry up all those raw edges. So just follow that around, either pin or clip it into position, whichever you prefer to do. And to finish this, before we put the cord in, we're simply going to sew around those 3 raw edges there, starting and finishing with a reverse stitch.
Remember, if you want to get in touch with the show, if you've got a question for Kerry, or you just want to say hi or whatever, or maybe you've made something with Kerry's patterns in the past and you'd like to show what you've made, share your makes with us. That's something we do every single day and every month. Last Saturday of the month, we give away £100 credit on someone's account just by showing us what you've made. It could be a card, it could be a bag, it could be anything at all. Anything at all. So studio@hobbymaker.co.uk is the email address to share your makes with us today and every day. Whenever you've made anything, just make it a habit. Take a photograph, email it in, you might win yourself £100 credit on your account at the end of the month. Oh, we're down, I've just been told, to single figures nearly on this kit, $14.99. You get the fabric, you get the pattern, which is the most important thing, and you get that little lobster claw as well, and the cord as well, the drawstring cord, because it's the bag that literally wraps itself up. It carries itself.
Think
about it. Very clever. And the straps are long enough to go over your shoulders. I mean, it's a good size capacity bag. Obviously, you know, it's not designed to put really heavy things in, but in an everyday, like light shopping bag, it's perfect for that. And with those cherries on there, really kind of bright and funky, cheerful colours on the cherries there, so you'll love those. Didn't take long at all, did it?
That's it, pressing the wrong one. I like the little scissors. I do like that that accessory on a sewing machine.
What, the fact that it cuts your
it
throat for you?
takes a while to get used to that as well. Yeah, it really does. So we're going to turn this the right way out now. We can see there that we've got the lobster clasp on the outside. We've got the little channels there for your little bag. So one of my recommendations for popping the cord in, Dave, have you got that piece of cord there? Is there a piece of blue? That's it, thank you. Is to use, again, either your safety pin and or your bodkin. And if you just use a little bit of sellotape, if I can find the end.
Find the end. That's always the way, isn't it?
There we go, yeah. And just wrap that around the edge of your cord. It just makes it much easier when you're threading this around.
Right, just kind of makes it stiffer, I suppose.
Yeah, makes it a little bit stiffer. So all that's left to do onto here.
Can you just show us?
Yeah, sorry.
It's all right.
There we go.
Yeah.
So if you do that on both sides, oops, because you're going to thread this through your double toggle.
Right. So it's making the cord almost into like a needle. It kind of makes it stiffer, so easier to thread.
Anything that makes life easier, I'm all for that.
Yeah.
Now I'm not going to do that today just because I know we've got another little project to finish. But to finish off this bag, all you're going to do, pop either your bodkin or your safety pin on the end. You're going to thread this through, so your raw edge here is hanging on the outside of the bag or the bottom, it actually doesn't matter. You're threading it around your channel, back out on itself. If I use yours, Dave, just to, so you can see on this one here, you can see my cords going all the way around. When it comes back through onto the same side, you're simply going to thread it through onto your double toggle. There we go. And then knot it off on the end and just trim away that extra sellotape. And that is your bag ready to go shopping or lunch with Dave.
And when you actually kind of put it into the little pouch, it's like a little love heart, isn't it? It really is. And that could just go onto your belt. So you've always got it whenever you need it, or onto the side of your shoulder bag or whatever. So it's a really, really lovely concept. And for just $14.99, you get the fabric, you get the pattern, and you get the little accessory lobster claw and the cord as well, and the toggles. And remember, we have got extra cord in yellow. We've got extra of these double toggles as well. They're just $2.99. And the lobster claw clasp we've got in packs of 2 as well. So if you do want to make more of these and maybe sell them, then you can stock up on those if you'd like to. So $14.99. FYL120 is your item number. That's for the reusable tote bag, kit and pattern. And again, as I said to you before, Kerry's patterns are some of the easiest to follow. They really, really are. Really well illustrated with photographs all the way. And she always tells you exactly what you need on the back of the pattern as well. Do you want to go through the cord and the lobster claws and the toggles again? Okay, they're on the website if you want them. Okay. Now, let's bring in the next kit. Let's go on to the next one. Now, we think this is going to be very, very popular because this is another bag. This one's called the Phoebe. Now, this fabric is Liberty fabric.
It is.
Hello. Liberty fabrics we adore, we love, you do as well. Look at this. Isn't that just spring? Spring every month of the year with this because you've got this lovely, bright, beautiful colours, the yellows, the lavenders, the blues in there as well. Now, this is using the 8-inch.
This is the 8-inch.
The 8-inch zip, okay. And the nylon zips, remember, are our early birds. So we've got packs of 5 of the 8-inch and packs of 5 of the 10-inch. The 10-inch we used earlier on the Verity bag, and this is the 8-inch. So if you want, obviously with the packet, or with the actual kit, you're actually going to be getting the zip included. But if you want to make multiples of this, then we do have the 8-inch zips in the show as well. Let me just show you what you get inside the tissue. Beautifully wrapped and beautifully presented. I'll just get this out of the way and then I can move on to this next one. Okay, let's show you this. Now this, look at this. Is Liberty fabric one of your favourites?
Oh, I love Liberty, yeah.
Yeah, I think everyone does. Everyone does. Got such a heritage. I mean, look at that. There we go. There's your Liberty fabric. Then we've got, now is this?
So you've got enough in here to make the full project.
There it is. Beautiful, isn't it? And then this is your, what do you call this, wadding?
This one is a heavyweight interfacing.
Right.
So for this particular project I've chosen, you could work with a lightweight interfacing, but I found that the pleats really, are nice and sturdy when you're using a heavyweight interfacing. So that's why we've included this one in the pattern.
Okay, and you're going to get your 8-inch zip, of course, as well. Will you get a red zip or will colours vary?
The colours might vary
Right.
in this particular one, yeah.
But
They'll be springtime colours,
Yeah.
so either yellows or pinks.
There'll be colours that will work with the Liberty fabric, but this is just absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? Now, what I love about this one, and the pattern included too, so if I just, there we are, show you this. Again, everything beautifully illustrated inside it there. Very nice. And again, all you need on the back. But what makes this bag different is the fact that you've actually got all of these beautiful pleats on the front here. Now that makes a really lovely feature, doesn't it? A very nice decorative feature.
Yeah, it does, and I just think it adds a lot of texture to the project. I mean, you could make this really simple if you wanted to, and if you choose to do that from the kit, you know, and save a little bit of the liberty for your scrap, you would just cut the front of the panel like the back, same size. So you've got the template in there anyway.
Again, what you use this bag for is entirely up to you, whether it's going to be a makeup bag, whether it's going to be, you know, a crafting bag. Maybe you've got a few, maybe you do get, you know, take your Santangling on the move or anything like that. You just want to have all your pens with you, that sort of thing. Then it could be for absolutely everything. Pencil case, it could be a school bag, it could be a makeup bag, whatever you want it to be.
It's funny, really, how you look at different things. I mean, everything that I make, you know, I make it with the intention of putting craft or storage in there or different things. But this is definitely one of the projects that just sings, you know, makeup bag to me. Or even a nice little clutch if you know, if you're going out. I mean, I've made these in the past in like a nice glittery fabric. So you know, if you've got your Christmas balls and things to go to. So in different fabrics, it completely transforms the look. I think originally we made this in a gold glitter for Christmas time, which was just beautiful.
I mean, it could be a wash bag maybe, when you're going away for a weekender bag, something like that. But I agree with you, if you do it in like a glitzy fabric, it could be a clutch bag for an evening. So in this sort of fabric, it does lend itself for kind of wash bags and makeup bags and that sort of thing. So this is $14.99. Again, the pattern's included, so you can make as many as you wish, and that's KCL176, your item number, KCL176. Now, are the pleats tricky to do?
No. So what we've done on the template, so what we'll do is we'll prepare it, and then I'll talk you through the template. So I mentioned if you wanted to keep it a simple bag, you have got your template in there. You know, if you wanted to just do the straight, no pleats, you could still do that from this project. Inside your kit, as I mentioned, it does come with a heavyweight interfacing. So the first thing to do is to attach that to your Liberty. Okay. So making sure that the side with the glue dots on, and it's great actually with the heavyweight, is you can really feel that on there. Make sure that's facing up towards you. Mm-hmm. Place your panel, so this is the back part on top. I, just as a rule of thumb, always make sure I've got something in between myself and the fabric, so a pressing cloth or a white piece of fabric. But for this one, I'm just going to use the lining fabric and the wrong side of it, just so there's something in between. And that's, to be honest, if there is a little bit of your interfacing poking out, it's not going onto your iron. Okay. There you go. So we've secured that now onto the back part of the bag.
Is there a maximum length of time you need to keep the iron on for?
No, I mean,
you overdo it or not?
No, not. You can actually. You can scorch it. Not so much with a heavyweight interfacing. Might just do that again. It looks like I've not done it enough. Was you hinting to me? No. You know, just a few seconds, and I find moving it in a circular motion helps that fuse to it. If it doesn't, you can always go over it again, but just don't hold your iron on top and, you know, really try and make it work, because it'll naturally stick to it anyway. So I've already gone ahead and put that onto the back of the longer piece of fabric. And then what we're doing here, so we'll just pop these to one side. If you then take your template and just stagger this down, perhaps half an inch, would you mind passing me the pen, Dave? Sorry. Mm-hmm. So fabric pens are great for this particular project. And on your template, you've got a variety of, we'll call these it's a little cross, but a little kiss. So you've got a single kiss, none, and then two. What we're then going to do is to just mark these up. Again, you can use a ruler, but just extending that line above. Where we've got a single cross, just transfer that onto your fabric, because this is going to make putting those pleats on in just a little while much easier. Okay. We'll do that at the top, and then if we turn this over, and we'll repeat that stage at the bottom as well. So just a little clip onto the side to hold this in place, so it's not moving around and we're not getting slanted pleats on there. So we're just going to draw this on. So I've got two little crosses, two little kisses on there, just a line, a single, two. So whatever you see on the line, it's important that you transfer that onto your fabric. Okay. It just makes it easier in a moment when we're going to fold these pleats into place.
And remember, this pen, as soon as you go over the actual fabric with an iron, the ink will just disappear, which is amazing.
And you naturally go, I mean, we do that anyway. We you know, we might avoid ironing at home, ironing the shirts and things for as long as possible. That's why the summer holidays are great. But things like this, you're naturally going to iron your project anyway. So it will remove that in that case. You know, if you want to, you can take a ruler, a longer ruler, and you can marry those lines up. So first time you're doing this, you might find that nice and helpful.
Right.
So you can just extend those, going along.
Well, it does actually stand out against that quite busy fabric as well, doesn't it? I wondered if you struggled to see the lines, but you can.
That's it. Now, if you make this a few times, you might think, actually, I don't need to extend that line because I've got the method, or I find it easy without adding this extra step in. I think the more we do things, we find ways around making it easier. So starting at the back, you'll notice that this one is a little bit wider, and that's to allow for our seam, our seam edge there. So we're going to fold at this 2 cross line. You can just finger press along there. And as you fold this in and rest it on top of that single kiss there, pop a clip on.
You wouldn't iron at that stage?
You can, but I would iron it all together.
Okay.
Then you're going to jump across to the second double set of crosses. Pinch and score, and that's why the heavyweight interfacing is so good for this one. Bring that across, and again, clip that into position.
Easy when you know how, isn't it?
You got it now.
Yeah. And it just adds that extra bit of character to the bag, having the pleating on the front.
So again, double cross over to the single. And you can see there, it will naturally fold itself anyway, but that line is there just to reassure you that you've got this right. So bringing that across, there we go. Last one in position. You can see here that it's almost the same size. So the next thing we're going to do is to just fold that last one into place, making sure now this time, sometimes what can happen is you can stagger it a little bit too much. So I would always recommend just resting this at the top, making sure that it's finishing the same length. Have I run out of clips? Let's just grab a couple more.
Another one here.
That's it. And then we're going to clip this together. Now, what I would recommend doing now is again to use your basting stitch and sew away from your pleat. So,
right.
So you're not
Don't
going
sew into
towards,
them,
yeah, otherwise your foot just gets caught up in that, your sewing machine foot.
Good job you said that. They've probably done it the other way around.
Well, yeah, that's how I know not to do it, because I've done it in the past and got myself all tangled up. There we go. So about 1/8 of an inch away. Again, I'm just going to increase that stitch length.
Is that because you're going through multiple layers of fabric?
Yeah. And it's just a basting stitch at this point. There we go. And the same on the opposite side.
And don't forget, this machine, if you would like to get your hands on it, is in the show as well. We put the details on the screen earlier on the fantastic Elna 570.
There we go. So you've got your pleated section, we've got your 2 lining pieces, and then we've got the back part. So what we're going to do now is to take your zip. Again, if you've got your wash away tape, use your wash away tape. It's really helpful at this stage. But as I've not got mine here,
And this is the 8-inch zip that you get with the kit, but we've got the 8-inch zips in packs of 5 as the early bird offer. Only, how much? What was the price of the 8-inch? Were they $5.99 for the zips? The zips, were they $5.99? $3.99, even better. $3.99 for 5 8-inch zips, and also same deal for the 10-inch zips as well.
So what I'm doing here is I've got the exterior part with the pleats, and then popping the zip on top and then lining up that raw edge. I've got a little bit overhanging, but we can trim that in a little while. There we go. So same technique as we had earlier. Make sure I've got this set up. Zip a foot to the left. check that first this time. Now, using that technique I showed you earlier, so if I just take a yellow pin so you can see that, feel through where your, shall I just move this here so I can show you a bit clearer? Where your little zipper is here, if you pop 2 fingers ahead, and then if you just slide a pin through. And I always think if you slide it from this angle, you know that's where you're stopping. So we're sewing along, getting to the pin, and then closing that zip out of the way.
And it is imperative that you actually have the zip half open, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Otherwise you're not going to be able to turn it through.
Yeah, it just makes it easier to put the zip in, and just, you know, think that what you're actually doing is sewing a straight line. If you've got it closed, then you end up going around your zip and you get that little sort of wiggle on your line.
Right.
Okay, so...
Now, we do have, remember, most of the kits, not one of them, but 3 of them, we've actually got patterns on their own as well. So this particular bag, if you are loving the idea of making it in this sort of size, these, if you do make to sell, you know, bags like this are going to absolutely fly off the shelves. Everybody needs bags like this. But if you just want the pattern on its own, it's only £6.99, and then you choose your fabrics that you want to use that you've already got at home or that you get from Sewing Street or whatever. And if you want to stock up on the zips, remember, a pack of 5 of the 8-inch zips, which is the zip size you need for this particular bag. That's our early bird offer at just £3.99. We've got the 10-inch and we've got the 8-inch, and they can be trimmed down because they're nylon, so you can make them shorter if you want to.
So the same way I did when we did the vinyl bag, all I've done is just press that fabric out of the way from the front and the back of the zip, and I'm sewing along those pleats. So the next thing we're going to do to attach the back of the bag is place the back panel, pattern facing towards us. Keep that zipper open. Place your zip on top. Take your lining fabric. Now in your kit it's a lovely white on white floral print, so you want to make sure that's pattern facing.
That is lovely, that fabric.
It's gorgeous. I love white on white fabric. So again, I'm just pinning through all these layers now, making sure that zip is in line with the raw edge of both the lining and the exterior fabric, all the way to the end. Again, if you're finding you've got a little bit overhanging, which can sometimes happen when you're putting the pleats in, you can trim that in a little while. Don't worry about that at this stage. Don't worry about it at all.
No.
Just trim it down in a little while. Okay, so again, take your pin, pin that through the fabric, 2 fingers ahead. You can pin either side. I'll put it this side on the white so you can see that. So I'm sewing to where the green pin is, opening up the zip and then sewing along to the edge.
Now, I know this time of the morning there's lots of things to do. Don't know what time you wake up, what time you get up, how busy your household is this time of the morning. But we will go through all the 4 kits that Kerry's brought us. We've been doing this from 6 o'clock this morning. So you may or may not have seen all the kits, but we do have them still available and remind you of them in a few minutes before the end of the show. And are you doing these on Sewing Street later? Or
We've got quilts.
Oh, quilts.
We've got quilts today, Festival of Quilts this week,
Mm-hmm.
so we're celebrating with quilts. I've got a new quilt today.
Have you?
A new launch today.
Wow.
You'll like it because it has the hummingbird fabric.
Oh, okay.
in it.
Cool. Yeah, I will like it.
That's it.
And you're on Sewing Street at 9 and
9
11.
and 11 today, yeah. That's it. So I've got a returning quilt that we did earlier in the year and a new quilt. Now, I bought a passport clutch as a kit and a sunglasses case today, and I've managed to pick the only day where we've got no sun to be showing a sunglasses case. I was having a little chuckle to myself in the car thinking, you know, I was ready to say, we all need them.
Yeah, yeah.
And all I've had on this morning is the windscreen wipers. So taking this back to the pressing mat, so let me show you this here. And what I did on the other side, and any time I do a zip, is to just fold this back. I always take that extra minute or 2 just to press this. And to top stitch. Now, because time's against us, I'm not going to sew this bit. I want to show you how to finish the bag. So when you make yours, you're going to top stitch.
Right.
Coming to put this bag together, we're going to open this up. So your pattern's facing your pattern, and your plane is on your plane. Whenever you're inserting a zip, you always push the zip in towards the lining. And we're simply just going to spin around those raw edges on the fabrics. There we go. I've got a little twist in here. There we go.
None of these projects are difficult. They're all very, very easy and simple. The instructions, remember, and the patterns are very easy to follow. And sometimes I've seen, you know, patterns for certain bags and things like that, and it's just left me completely gobsmacked and confused because there's so many technical words and numbers and everything else. You make the pattern so easy to follow, don't you?
We like easy.
Yeah.
I like easy. Means I can make it then. So I'm going to leave a turning gap at the bottom of my fabric. So about 3 inches is absolutely fine because we've got that extra interface in there. And what we're going to do now is start with a reverse stitch where that pen mark is, so all the way around, and finish where my second pen mark is. So I'll swap the foot back over to the standard foot on the machine. Just going to rethread that. Looks like it's twisted around.
Now we do have the pattern on its own, remember, for this bag. That's $6.99 if you just want the pattern without the fabric. But if you want the kit with everything, that will come with the pattern and the zip, fabric, the Liberty fabric, and that beautiful white on white fabric as well, which I don't know if you saw. I'll just show it to you in close up. That is just gorgeous. I hope the camera can pick that up. Really lovely. That's what we've used on the inside of it. The whole thing's only $14.99. KCL 176.
So all I'm doing now is to just sew around the exterior of the bag. Again, using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And when we pull this through, that turning gap, that's this project finished, excluding the turning gap. Now, I always like to just take a few minutes and give it a nice professional finish by hand stitching that turning gap. You could machine stitch it if you wanted to, but I have to be honest, I like to see it finished.
Fair enough. What will you be using your bags for? We've had multiple bags in the show today, and we'll go through all of them again in the next couple of minutes or so.
So when you arrive back at this last turning gap, what we're going to do is to just clip that corner. So just cut into the corner. I always cut into both corners. That just gives you a nice finish on the bag, especially here where we've got all those layers.
Mm-hmm. So what does doing this do? It just makes the points, corners nice and pointed?
Yeah, because you can cut it straight, but I still find that leaves a little bit of a bulk, so I like to do it into both corners. So as I push this through, we now have that pleated clutch. And it's this little turning gap. Let's just poke into the bottom. So just take your time with the pleats, because what we don't want to happen with those pleats there is that, you know, you twist them all around.
No. I think it's the pleats that makes the bag.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
There we go. Push the lining inside. We'll just give that a little top press to finish that off. And that's our fourth project of the 2 hours.
When Kerry said to me, I'm going to do all 4 in the 2 shows, I thought, really? I would have thought maybe 1, maybe 2, but no, she's done all 4. So that proves how quick you can actually do these projects. You know, none of them are going to take you more than maybe an hour or 2 tops, even if you're brand new and you're kind of, you know, feeling your way. And to achieve something like that, so beautiful as that, in next to no time.
There we go.
Isn't that brilliant?
So I'll just push the corner out. We've got matching bags, except mine's got a fuchsia pink.
Yep.
A fuchsia pink zip there.
But it looks just as good with the red zip as it does with the pink zip. Zip colours may vary, but you are going to get your 8-inch zip with the actual fabric in the kit. And remember, the lovely thing is the other projects that we've done in the show today, all of them either require a 10-inch zip or an 8-inch zip, and we've got those packs of 5 at $3.99 on our website right now. Now, let me just move all this tissue paper out of the way and show you our first collection. Now, this was between 6 and about 6:30 this morning, so you may or may not have been with us that early. This is a fantastic wrap. Now, we've put pens in ours. You can put whatever you want. It could be brushes, makeup brushes, craft utensils, pencils, whatever it may be, whatever you want it to be. You can even use it as a jewellery wrap if you want to as well. Put your bracelets and necklaces in there and that sort of thing. It helps to keep everything nice and pristine. Because when you're rolling the wrap up, obviously the cotton and the wadding that you've got in there acts as like a protective surface to protect everything that you've got wrapped up in there. You are going to get 1 metre of ribbon as well, which you cut down, so you've got enough to make 2 of those wraps.
You can cut it down, or if if you're putting a lot of pens in there or something that's quite, I mean, those pens are quite small. You might even want the full length in there, so you can wrap it round a little bit tighter.
Now, the other bag that we did shortly after that was the vinyl bag, which
I've got it.
Oh, you've got it. Here it is.
I've tied it up already. That's unlike me, isn't it?
So here's the vinyl bag. Now, you're going to get, again, all the fabric that you need. The lovely thing is, though, that you can see what's in the bag, because so often, if you've got loads and loads of bags all stacked up next to each other, you forget what's in what. And again, this is a 12 by... Was it 12 inches by
12 by 8.
12 by 8 inches. So one of the biggest bags in the show, in actual fact. But again, perfect for makeup, perfect for your crafting tools, all that sort of thing. Maybe have a few of them hung up on the edge of a shelf or something, and you can see everything that's in there at a glance. And if you do want the extra vinyl, we have got the 3 meters of the vinyl available as well, so you can make plenty more bags just like that. And you were saying that if you're going to be using mainly vinyl with the sewing machine, change the needle for a leather needle.
I would, yeah.
Okay, brilliant. So that's the details if you want that. Again, you've got the separate pattern available as well. That's on the website. NFL 123. NFL 123, £14.99 for the kit. And then we went on to, after that, we went on to the tote bag, which is just here. And that is the tote bag, very, very popular that. This has been one of the most popular items of the show, and that's only £14.99. Again, the wonderful cherry fabric and the little toggle and the cord and the lobster claw clasp all included in there with the pattern as well. That is FYL 120. And then, of course, the Liberty fabric bag was the last one. That's available for £14.99 as well. Now, I know in the morning it's a bit of a weird one because lots of you got things to do. You keep one eye on the telly and one eye on the kids, maybe. You can watch these shows back later on this afternoon when you've got a bit of time to yourself. Anytime on our website at hobbymaker.co.uk. And don't forget, Kerry is going to be here on Sewing Street, our sister channel, a little bit later at 9 o'clock. I'm going to be back on Hobbymaker at 1 this afternoon. Look forward to seeing you then. Thank you, Kerry.
See you again.
See you later on.